Hello. I'm going to do my own sound check here. I've got a window open just for that purpose. See if we've got sound. I'll have to wait for my delay to catch up. And just for that purpose. Yep, I do. See if we've got sound. We've got sound. So, I got my beverage. I've got my smoothie. We need some chapstick. And we need a book. Do a little quick arranging. Get myself back here just a little bit. I feel a little too close. There we go. Let's move our keyboard a tiny amount. Hi, Tony. Happy new day, buddy. How's it going? You enjoying this snow? I know I'm not going anywhere today. If it's sticking to the roads anyway, my car's trapped here for a bit. Dad's out plowing the driveway or getting ready to plow the driveway now. Hopefully you're not trapped in your driveway. Yeah, it was snowing pretty hard. It just slowed down here a moment ago. So hopefully it'll be done soon and the roads will be clear because I don't want to be really cooped up all day. But if we have to be, there's always something to be done here or something to study and read. So I'm only going to do a couple of minutes of intro and then we'll begin our reading. We're going to start in Old Songs and Ballads from the young folks. Again, I really have been enjoying these tales. I like poetry, so it appeals to me. So let me move this out of my way as well. And I'm gonna set my smoothie a little farther away to give myself some more room. And we shall begin. Our first reading is The Harp That Once Through Tara's Halls by Thomas Moore. The harp that once through Tara's halls the soul of music shed, now hangs as mute on Tara's walls, as if that soul were fled. So sleeps the pride of former days, so glory's thrill is over, and hearts that once beat high for praise now feel that pulse no more. No more to chiefs and ladies bright the harp of Tara swells, the chord alone that breaks at night its tale of ruin tells. Thus freedom now so seldom wakes, the only throb she gives is when some heart indignant breaks to show that still she lives. Hi, how you doing, Super Cal? Good to see ya. We're just reading some short songs and ballads, and then I might move on to Tennyson or one of the Greek classics. So enjoy. Next, we have The Minstrel Boy by Thomas Moore. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. Land of song, said the warrior bard, though all the world betrays thee, one sword, at least, thy rights shall guard, one faith harp shall praise thee. The minstrel fell, but the foeman's chains could not bring his proud soul under. The harp he loved never spoke again, for he tore its cords asunder, and said, no chains shall sully thee, thou soul of love and bravery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery. I like that one. Ye Mariners of England by Thomas Campbell. Ye mariners of England that guard over native seas, whose flag has braved 1,000 years the battle and the breeze, your glorious standard launch again to match another foe, and sweep through the deep while the stormy winds do blow, while the battle rages loud and long, and the stormy winds do blow. The spirits of your fathers shall start from every wave, for the deck it was their field of fame, and ocean was their grave. Where Blake and mighty Nelson fell, your manly hearts shall glow, as ye sweep through the deep, while the stormy winds do blow, while the battle rages loud and long, and the stormy winds do blow. Britannia needs no bulwarks, no towers along the steep. Her marches over the mountain waves, her home is on the deep. With thunders from her native oak, she quells the floods below, as they roar on the shore when the stormy winds do blow, and the battle rages loud and long, and the stormy winds do blow. The meteor flag of England shall yet terrific burn, till danger's troubled night depart, and the star of peace return. Then, ye ocean warriors, our song and feast shall flow to the fame of your name when the storm has ceased to blow, and the fiery fight is heard no more, and the storm has ceased to blow. Hey, London. Hello, Bex. Nice to see y'all today. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Our next story here is After Blenheim by Robert Southey. It was a summer evening, old Caspar's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun, and by him sported on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. She saw her brother Peterkin roll something large and round, which he beside the rivulet in playing there had found. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. Old Caspar took it from the boy, who stood expectant by, and then the old man shook his head, and with a natural sigh, "'Tis some poor fellow's skull," said he, "who fell in the great victory. I find them in the garden, for there's many hereabout, and often when I go to plough, the ploughshare turns them out. For many thousand men," said he, "were slain in that great victory." "Now tell us what 'twas all about, young Peterkin," he cries, and little Wilhelmina looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. "Now tell us all about the war, and what they fought each other for." "It was the English," Caspar cried, "who put the French to rout, but what they fought each other for I could not well make out. But everybody said," quoth he, "that 'twas a famous victory." My father lived at Blenheim then, yon little stream hard by. They burned his dwelling to the ground, and he was forced to fly. So with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. With fire and sword the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childling mother then and newborn baby died. But things like that you know must be at every famous victory. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was won, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun, but things like that you know must be after a famous victory. Great praise the Duke of Marlborough won, and our good Prince Eugene. "Why, 'twas a very wicked thing," said little Wilhelmine. "Nay, nay, my little girl," quoth he, "it was a famous victory." And everybody praised the Duke, who this great fight did win. "But what good came of it at last?" quoth little Peterkin. "Why, that I cannot tell," said he, "but 'twas a famous victory." And there we go. Nobody knows why they go fighting to war, but they go. The next in order is The Skeleton in Armor by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. "Speak, speak, thou fearful guest, who with thy hollow breast, still in rude armor dressed, comest to daunt me, wrapped not in eastern balms, but with thy fleshless palms stretched as if asking alms. Why dost thou haunt me?" Then from those cavernous eyes pale flashes seem to rise, and when the northern skies gleam in December, and like the waters flow under the December's snow, came a dull voice of woe from the heart's chamber. "I was a Viking old, my deeds, though manyfold, no skald in song has told, no saga taught thee. Take heed that in thy verse thou dost the tale rehearse, else dread a dead man's curse, for this I sought thee. Far in the northern land, by the wild Baltic strand, I, with my childish hand, tamed the falcon, and with my skates fast bound, skimmed the half-frozen sound that the poor whimpering hound trembled to walk on. Oft to his frozen lair tracked I the grizzly bear, while from my path the hare fled like a shadow. Oft through the forest dark followed the werewolf's bark until the soaring lark sang from the meadow. But when older I grew, joining a corsair's crew, over the dark sea I flew with the marauders. Wild was the life we led, many the souls that sped, many the hearts that bled by our stern orders. Many a wassail bout wore the long winter out. Often our midnight shout set the cocks crowing, as we the berserk's tale measured in cups of ale, draining the oaken pail filled to overflowing. Once, as I told in glee tales of the stormy sea, soft eyes did gaze on me, burning yet tender. And as the white stars shine on the dark Norway pine, on that dark heart of mine fell their soft splendor. I wooed the blue-eyed maid, yielding yet half afraid, and in the forest's shade our vows were plighted. Under its loosened vest fluttered her little breast, like birds within their nest, by the hawk frighted. Bright in her father's hall, shields gleamed upon the wall, loud sang the minstrels all, chanting his glory. When of old Hildebrand I asked his daughter's hand, mute did the minstrels stand to hear my story. While the brown ale he quaffed, loud then the champion laughed, and as the wind gusts waft the sea foam brightly, so the loud laugh of scorn out of those lips unshorn from the deep drinking horn blew the foam lightly. She was a prince's child, I but a Viking wild, and though she blushed and smiled, I was discarded. Though not the dove so white follow the sea mew's flight, why did they leave that night her nest unguarded? Scarce had I put to sea, bearing the maid with me, fairest of all was she among the Norsemen. When on the white sea strand, waving his armed hand, saw we old Hildebrand with 20 horsemen. Then launched they to the blast, bent like a reed each mast, yet we were gaining fast when the wind failed us. And with a sudden flaw came round the gusty skaw, so that our foe we saw laugh as he hailed us. And as to catch the gale, round veered the flapping sail. Death was the helmsman's hail, death without quarter. Midships with iron keel struck we her ribs of steel, down her black hulk did reel through the black water. As with his wings aslant sails the fierce cormorant, seeking some rocky haunt with his prey laden, so toward the open main, beating to the sea again, through the wild hurricane, bore I the maiden. 3 weeks we westward bore, and when the storm was o'er, cloud-like we saw the shore stretching to leeward. There for my lady's bower built I the lofty tower, which to this very hour stands looking seaward. There lived we many years, time dried the maiden's tears, she had forgot her fears, she was a mother. Death closed her mild blue eyes, under that tower she lies, never shall the sun arise on such another. Still grew my bosom then, still as a stagnant fen, hateful to me were men, the sunlight hateful. In the vast forest here, clad in my warlike gear, fell I upon my spear, oh, death was grateful. Thus seemed with many scars, bursting these prison bars, up to its native stars my soul ascended. There from the flowing bow, deep drinks the warrior's soul, Skoll to the Northland Skoll, thus the tale is ended. Okay, that one's all right. Let's see what we got next. That one's Columbus. Who cares about Columbus? He a fool. I don't want to read that one. I don't want to read that one. Okay, here we go. Concord Hymn by Ralph Waldo Emerson. By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled, here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. The foe long since in silence slept, alike the conqueror silent sleeps, and time the ruined bridge has swept down the dark stream which seaward creeps. On this green bank, by this soft stream, we set today a votive stone, that memory may their deed redeem, when, like our sires, our sons are gone. Spirit that made those heroes dare to die and leave their children free, bid time and nature gently spare the shaft we raise to them and thee. The end. Old Ironsides by Oliver Wendell Holmes. I tear her tattered ensign down, long has it waved on high, and many an eye has danced to see that banner in the sky. Beneath it rung the battle shout and burst the cannon's roar. The meteor of the ocean air shall sweep the clouds no more. Her deck once red with heroes' blood, where knelt the vanquished foe, when winds were hurrying over the flood, and waves were white below. No more shall feel the victor's tread, or know the conquered knee. The harpies of the shore shall pluck the eagle of the sea. Oh, better that her shattered hulk should sink beneath the wave. Her thunders shook the mighty deep, and there should be her grave. Nail to the mast her holy flag, set every threadbare sail, and give her to the god of storms, the lightning and the gale. That one was nice. This one is called Barbara Farici. I've never heard it, but there's Barbara again, so let us read on, shall we? And I hope that I'm pronouncing that last name correctly of Barbara Farici. Barb. I don't know. I've never heard this before. This is by John Greenleaf Whittier. Up from the meadows rich with corn, clear in the cool September morn, the clustered spires of Frederick stand, green-walled by the hills of Maryland. Round about them orchards sweep, apple and peach tree fruited deep, fair as the garden of the Lord to the eyes of the famished rebel horde. On that pleasant morn of the early fall, when Lee marched over the mountain wall, over the mountains winding down, horse and foot, into Frederick town, 40 flags with their silver stars, 40 flags with their crimson bars, flapped in the morning wind. The sun of noon looked down and saw not one. Up rose old Barbara Farici then, bowed with her 80 years and 10. Bravest of all in Frederick town, she took up the flag the men hauled down. In her attic window the staff she set, to show that one heart was loyal yet. Up the street came the rebel tread, Stonewall Jackson riding ahead. Under his slouch hat, left and right, he glanced. The old flag met his sight. Halt! The dust-brown rank stood fast. Fire! Out blazed the rifle blast. It shivered the window, pane and sash. It rent the banner with seam and gash. Quick as it fell from the broken staff, Dame Barbara snatched the silken scarf. She leaned far out on the window sill and shook it forth with a royal will. Shoot, if you must, this old gray head, but spare your country's flag, she said. A shade of sadness, a blush of shame, over the face of the leader came. The nobler nature within him stirred to life at the woman's deed and word. Who touches a hair of yon gray head dies like a dog. March on, he said. All day long through Frederick Street sounded the tread of marching feet. All day long that free flag tossed over the heads of the rebel host. Ever its torn folds rose and fell on the loyal winds that loved it well, and through the hill gaps sunset light shone over it with a warm good night. Barbara Frietchie work is over, and the rebel rides on his raids no more. Honor to her, and let a tear fall for her sake on Stonewall's bier. Over Barbara Frietchie's grave, flag of freedom and union wave. Peace and order and beauty draw round thy symbol of light and law, and ever the stars above look down on the stars below in Fredericktown. I like that one. Let me get a little sip. I'll catch up with the chat afterwards. I'm just gonna read on. Because yeah, these are all interesting poems. Nancy Hanks by Rosemary Bennett. If Nancy Hanks came back as a ghost, seeking news of what she loved most, she'd ask first, "Where's my son? What happened to Abe? What's he done?" Poor little Abe left all alone except for Tom, who's a rolling stone. He was only 9 the year I died. I remember still how hard he cried, scraping along in a little shack with hardly a shirt to cover his back, and a prairie wind to blow him down, or pinching times if he went to town. You wouldn't know about my son. Did he grow tall? Did he have fun? Did he learn to read? Did he get to town? Do you know his name? Did he get on? Could do without that one. Oh, Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack, the prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh, heart, 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 oh, bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you banquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores a crowding, for you they call, the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head, it is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse or will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells, but I with mournful tread walk the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Oh no. Let's see, what do we have next here? I am not reading that one. Continuing on, because I enjoy these poetic ballads, we are going to go into The Song of Wandering Angus by William Butler Yeats. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut up peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream, and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran, and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she is gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. I do love Yeats. The Vagabond by Robert Louis Stevenson. Give to me the life I love, let the lave go by me. Give the jolly heaven above, and the byway nigh me. Bed in the bush with stars to see, bread I dip in the river. There's the life for a man like me, there's the life forever. Let the blow fall soon or late, let what will be over me. Give the face of earth around and the road before me. Wealth I seek not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I seek the heaven above and the road below me. Or let autumn fall on me, where I afield I linger, silencing the bird on tree, biting the blue finger. White as meal the frosty field, warm the fireside haven. Not to autumn will I yield, not to winter even. Let the blow fall soon or late, let what will me. Give the face of earth around and the road before me. Wealth I ask not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I ask the heaven above and the road below me. This one's, a lot of these are very short. Romance by Robert Louis Stevenson. I will make you brooches and toys for your delight, of bird song at morning and starshine at night. I will make a palace fit for you and me, of green days in forests and blue days at sea. I will make my kitchen, and you shall keep your room, where white flows the river and bright blows the broom. And you shall wash your linen and keep your body white in rainfall at morning and dewfall at night. And this shall be for music when no one else is near, the fine song for singing, the rare song to hear. That only I remember, that only you admire, of the broad road that stretches and the roadside fire. This is The Passionate Shepherd to His Love by Christopher Marlowe. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that hills and valleys, dales and fields, and woods and steepy mountain yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks by shallow rivers, to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. And I will make thee beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle embroidered all with leaves of myrtle. A gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty lambs we pull, fair lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. Thy silver dishes for thy meat, as precious as the gods do eat, shall on an ivory table be, prepared each day for thee and me. The shepherd swains shall dance and sing, for thy delight each May morning. If these delights thy mind may move, then live with me and be my love. Ah, that was lovely. Let's see. Another short one, O Wert Thou in the Cold Blast by Robert Burns. O wert thou in the cold blast, on yonder lea, my plaidy to the angry art, I'd shelter thee. Or did misfortune's bitter storms around thee blaw, thy field should be my bosom, to share it all. Or were I in the wildest waste of earth and air, the desert were a paradise, if thou wert there. Or were I monarch over the globe, would thee to reign, the only jewel in my crown would be my queen. Okay. Let's see what's next. Ooh. Time, You Old Gypsy Man by Ralph Hodgson. Time, you old gypsy man, will you not stay? Put up your caravan just for one day. All things I'll give you Will you be my guest? Bells for your jennet, of silver the best. Goldsmiths shall beat you a great golden ring. Peacocks shall bow to you, little boys sing. Oh, and sweet girls will festoon you with May. Time, you old gypsy, why hasten away? Last week in Babylon, last night in Rome, morning and in the crush under Paul's dome. Under Paul's dial, you tighten your rein. Only a moment and off once again. Off to some city now blind in the womb, off to another ere that's in the tomb. Time, you old gypsy man, will you not stay? Put up your caravan just for one day. Let's see. Tarantella by Hilary Belloc. Do you remember an inn, Miranda? Do you remember an inn? And the tedding and the spreading of the straw for a bedding, and the fleas that tease in the high Pyrenees, and the wine that tasted of the tar, and the cheers and the jeers of the young muleteers under the dark of the vine veranda. Do you remember an inn, Miranda? Do you remember an inn? And the cheers and the jeers of the young muleteers who hadn't got a penny, and who weren't paying any, and the hammer at the doors and the din, and the hip, hop, hap of the clap of the hands to the twirl and the swirl of the girl gone chancing, glancing, dancing, backing and advancing, snapping of the clapper to the spin, out and in, and the ting-tong-tang of the guitar. Do you remember an inn, Miranda? Do you remember an inn? Nevermore, Miranda, nevermore, only the high peaks hoar, and Aragon a torrent at the door, no sound, in the in the halls where falls the tread of the feet of the dead to the ground, no sound, only the boom of the far waterfall like doom. I can't pronounce some of the words in this next one, so I'm going to skip it. Far are the shades of Arabia, where the princes ride at noon, mid the verdurous vales and thickets under the ghost of the moon. And so dark is that vaulted purple, flowers in the forest rise, and toss into blossom 'gainst the phantom stars, pale in the noonday skies. Sweet is the music of Arabia in my heart, when out of dreams I still in the thick, clear murk of dawn descry her gilding streams. Hear her strange lutes on the green banks ring loud with the grief and delight of the dim-silked, dark-haired musicians in the brooding silence of night. They haunt me, her lutes and her forests. No beauty on earth I see, but shadowed with that dream recalls her loveliness to me. Still eyes look coldly upon me, cold voices whisper and say, he is crazed with the spell of far Arabia. They have stolen his wits away. The Outlaw by Sir Walter Scott. O Brignall banks are wild and fair, and Greta woods are green, and you may gather garlands there, would grace a summer queen. And as I rode by Dalton Hall, beneath the turrets high, a maiden on the castle wall was singing merrily. O Brignall banks are fresh and fair, and Greta woods are green. I'd rather rove with Edmund there than reign our English queen. If, maiden, thou wouldst wend with me to leave both tower and town, thou first must guess what life lead we that dwell by dale and down. And if thou canst that riddle read, as read full well you may, then to the greenwood shalt thou speed, as blithe as Queen of May. Yet sung she, Brignall banks are fair, and Greta woods are green. I'd rather rove with Edmund there than reign our English queen. I read you by your bugle horn, and by your palfrey good. I read you for a ranger sworn to keep the king's green wood. A ranger, lady, wons his horn, and 'tis at peep of light. His blast is heard at merry morn, and mine at dead of night. Yet sung she, Brignall banks are fair, and Greta woods are gay. I would I were with Edmund there, to reign his Queen of May. With burnished brand and musketoon, so gallantly you come. I read you for a bold dragoon, that lists the tuck of drum. I list no more the tuck of drum, no more the trumpet hear, but when the beetle sounds his hum, my comrades take the spear. And oh, though Brignall banks be fair, and Greta woods be gay, yet mickle must the maiden dare, would reign my Queen of May. Maiden, a nameless life I lead, a nameless death I'll die. The fiend whose lantern lights the mead were better mate than I. And when I'm with my comrades met beneath the greenwood bough, what once we were we all forget, nor think what we are now. Yet Brignall banks are fresh and fair, and Greta woods are green, and you may gather garlands there, would grace a summer queen. Okay. We have Smuggler's Song by Rudyard Kipling. Yeah, why not? Let's go there. If you wake at midnight and hear a horse's feet, don't go drawing back the blind or looking in the street. Them that ask no questions isn't told a lie. Watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by. 25 ponies trotting through the dark, brandy for the parson, baccy for the clerk, laces for a lady, letters for a spy, and watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by. Running round the wood lump if you chance to find little barrels roped and tarred, all full of brandy wine. Don't you shout to come and look, nor use 'em for your play. Put the brushwood back again, and they'll be gone next day. If you see the stable door setting open wide, if you see a tired horse lying down inside, if your mother mends a coat, cut about and tore, if the lining's wet and warm, don't you ask no more. If you meet King George's men, dressed in blue and red, you be careful what you say and mindful what is said. If they call you pretty maid and chuck you neath the chin, don't you tell where no one is, nor yet where no one's been. Knocks and footsteps round the house, whistles after dark. You've no call for running out till the house dogs bark. Trustees here and pinchers here, and see how dumb they lie. They don't fret to follow when the gentlemen go by. If you do as you've been told, likely there's a chance you'll be give a dainty dole all the way from France, with a cap of Valenciennes and a velvet hood, a present from the gentleman, along o' being good. 25 ponies trotting through the dark, brandy for the parson, baccy for the clerk. Them that ask no questions isn't told a lie. Watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by. Let's see. This is an anonymous old tale called The Raggle-Taggle Gypsies. There were 3 gypsies a come to my door, and downstairs ran this a lady o. One sang high, and another sang low, and the other sang bonny, bonny Biscay o. Then she pulled off her silk-finished gown, and put on hose of leather o. The ragged, ragged rigs about your door, she's gone with the raggle-taggle gypsies o. It was late last night when my lord came home, inquiring for his lady o. The servants said on every hand, she's gone with the raggle-taggle gypsies o. O saddle to me my milk-white steed, go and fetch me my pony o, that I may ride and seek my bride, who is gone with the raggle-taggle gypsies o. Oh, he rode high and he rode low, he rode through woods and copses too, until he came to an open field, and there he espied his lady o. What makes you leave your house and land? What makes you leave your money, oh? What makes you leave your new wedded lord to go with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh? What care I for my house and land? What care I for money, oh? What care I for a new wedded lord? I'm off with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. Last night you slept on a goose feather bed, with the sheet turned down so bravely, oh, and tonight you'll sleep in a cold open field, along with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. What care I for goose feather bed, with the sheet turned down so bravely, oh, for tonight I shall sleep in a cold open field, along with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. Okay, that's all right. Man, I've managed to fill almost an entire hour with just short poems. I hope that's enjoyable for people. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's like the first hip hop songs ever. It was old traveling gypsies with harps and lutes and whatever. So far, I got Squirrel, Beck, Supercal, Tony, London. Hola, y'all. I hope you're enjoying a nice midday chat. I'm going to read for about 15 more minutes. And since we're enjoying the poetic ballads, I'm not going to start one of the Greek classics today. I'll wait till later. Tom o' Bedlam, Anonymous. The moon's my constant mistress, and the lovely owl my marrow. The flaming drake and the night crow make me music to my sorrow. I no more than Apollo, for oft when he lies sleeping, I behold the stars at mortal wars, and the round welkin weeping. The moon embraces her shepherd, and the queen of love her warrior, while the first does horn the stars of the morn, and the next the heavenly farrier. With a heart of furious fancies, whereof I am commander, with a burning spear and a horse of air, to the wilderness I wander. With a night of ghosts and shadows, I summoned am to tourney, 10 leagues beyond the wide world's end. Methinks it is no journey. This is Tewkesbury Road by John Masefield. It is good to be out on the road and going one knows not where, going through meadow and village, one knows not whither nor why, through the grey light drift of the dust, in the keen cool rush of the air, under the flying white clouds and the broad blue lift of the sky. And to halt at the chattering brook, in the tall green fern at the brink, where the harebell grows, and the gorse, and the foxgloves, purple and white. Where the shy-eyed, delicate deer troop down to the pools to drink, when the stars are mellow and large at the coming on of the night. Oh, to feel the warmth of the rain and the homely smell of the earth is a tune for the blood to jig to, a joy past power of words, and the blessed green comely meadows seem all a ripple with mirth at the lilt of the shifting feet and the dear wild cry of the birds. These are all like sea shanties. There's so much going on with this language surrounding maritime shit. You got to start to wonder. They put it even in the little old songs to somehow get our minds on a certain track. If Once You Have Slept on an Island by Rachel Field. If once you have slept on an island, you'll never be quite the same. You may look as you look the day before, and go by the same old name. You may bustle about in street and shop, you may sit at home and sew, but you'll see blue water and wheeling gulls wherever your feet may go. You may chat with your neighbors of this and that, and close to your fire keep, but you'll hear ship whistle and lighthouse bell, and tides beat through your sleep. Oh, you won't know why, and you can't say how, such change upon you came. But once you have slept on an island, you'll never be quite the same. Hello, islands in the stream. The Sea Gypsy by Richard Hovey. I am fevered with the sunset, I am fretful with the bay, for the wander-thirst is on me, and my soul is in Cathay. There's a schooner in the offing, with her topsail shot with fire, and my heart has gone aboard her for the islands of desire. I must forth again tomorrow, With the sunset I must be, haul down on the tranquil of rapture in the wonder of the sea. Sea Fever by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face, and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep and sweet dreams when the long trick's over. Eelgrass by Edna St. Vincent Millay. No matter what I say, all that I really love is the rain that flattens on the bay and the eelgrass in the cove, the jingle shells that lie and bleach at the tide line and the trace of higher tides along the beach, nothing in this place. A Visit from the Sea by Robert Louis Stevenson. Far from the loud sea beaches where he goes fishing and crying, here in the inland garden, why is the seagull flying? Here are no fish to dive for, here is the corn and lea, here are the green trees rustling, high away home to sea. Fresh is the river water and quiet among the rushes, this is no home for the seagull, but for the rooks and rushes. Pity the bird that has wandered, pity the sailor ashore, hurry him home to the ocean, let him come here no more. High on the sea cliff ledges, the white gulls are trooping and crying, here among rooks and roses, why is the seagull flying? These are all sea tales. I don't know what's up with this book. The Northern Seas by William Howitt. Up, up, let us a voyage take. Why sit we here at ease? Find us a vessel tight and snug, bound for the northern seas. I long to see the northern lights with their rushing splendors fly, like living things with flaming wings, wide over the wondrous sky. I long to see those icebergs vast, with heads all crowned with snow, whose green roots sleep in the awful deep, 200 fathoms below. I long to hear the thundering crash of the terrific fall, and the echoes from 1,000 cliffs like lonely voices call. There shall we see the fierce white bear, the sleepy seals aground, and the sprouting whales that to and fro sail with a dreary sound. There may we tread on depths of ice that the hairy mammoth hide, perfect as when in times of old the mighty creatures died, and while the unsetting sun shines on through the still heaven's deep blue, we'll traverse the azure waves, the herds of the dead seahorse to view. We'll pass the shores of solemn pine, where wolves and black bears prowl, and away to the rocky isles of mist to rouse the northern fowl. Up there shall start 10,000 wings with a rushing, whistling din. Up shall the auk and fulmar start, all but the fat penguin. And there in the wastes of the silent sky, with the silent earth below, we shall see far off to his lonely rock the lonely eagle go. Ooh. I'm wondering, if they spent just lifetimes at sea and we're being reminded of a very different civilization of people, or maybe one of many tribes. I think we were talking about that last night, some of us, finding evidence of what seemed to be very different tribes of people. Interesting. The Sailor's Consolation by Charles Dibdin. One night came on a hurricane, the sea was mountains rolling, when Barney Buntline turned his quid and said to Billy Bowling, "A strong nor'wester blowing, Bill. Hark! Don't ye hear it roar now? Lord help 'em high! How I pities all unhappy folks on shore now. Foolhardy chaps who live in town, what danger they are all in, and now are quaking in their beds for fear the roof should fall in. Poor creatures, how they envies us, and wishes, I've a notion, for our good luck in such a storm to be upon the ocean. Then as to them kept out all day on business from their houses, and late at night are walking home to cheer their babes and spouses, while you and I upon the deck are comfortably lying, my eyes, what tiles and chimney pots about their heads are flying. And often have we seen or heard how men are killed or undone by overturns in carriages and thieves and fires in London. We've heard what risks all landsmen run, from noblemen to tailors. So, Billy, let's thank Providence that you and I are sailors. Whoa. The Bell Buoy by Rudyard Kipling. They christened my brother of old, and a saintly name he bears. They gave him his place to hold, and the head of the belfry stairs, where the minster towers stand, and the breeding kestrels cry. Would I change with my brother a league inland? Shoal, where shoal, not I. In the flush of the hot June prime, o'er sleek flood tides afire, I hear him hurry the chime to the bidding of checked desire, till the sweated ringers tire and the wild bop majors die. Could I wait for my turn in the godly choir? Shoal, where shoal, not I. When the smoking scud is blown, when the greasy wind rack lowers, apart and at peace and alone, he counts the changeless hours. He wars with darkling powers. I war with a darkling sea. Would he stoop to my work in the gusty murk? Shoal, where shoal, not he. There was never a priest to pray, there was never a hand to toll, when they made me guard of the bay and moored me over the shoal. I rock, I reel, and I roll, my four great hammers ply. Could I speak or be still at the church's will? Shoal, where shoal, not I. The landward marks have failed, the fog bank glides unguessed, the seaward lights are veiled, the spent deep feigns her rest. But my ear is laid to her breast, I lift to the swell, I cry, could I wait in sloth on the church's oath, shoal, where shoal, not I. At the careless end of night, I thrill to the nearing screw. I turn in the clearing light, and I call to the drowsy crew. And the mud boils foul and blue as the blind bow backs away. Will they give me their thanks if they clear the banks? Shoal, where shoal, not they. The beach pools cake and skim, the bursting spray heads freeze. I gather on crown and rim the gray-grained ice of the seas, where sheathed from bit to trees the plunging colliers lie. Would I barter my place for the church's grace? Shoal, where shoal, not I. Through the blue of the whirling snow or the black of the inky sleet, the lanterns gather and grow, and I look for the homeward fleet. Rattle of block and sheet, ready about, stand by. Shall I ask them a fee ere they fetch the quay? Shoal, where shoal, not I. I dip and I surge and I swing in the rip of the racing tide. By the gates of doom I sing, on the horns of death I ride. A ship length overside, between the course and the sand, fretted and bound I bide, peril whereof I cry. Would I change with my brother a league inland? Shoal, where shoal, not I. That one was nice. I'm going to keep going for just a few more minutes because, I don't know, reading poetry is fun and enjoyable. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you. A Sea Song by Alan Cunningham. Like all of these are about the sea or death and travel, Good Lord, but most of them about the sea. A Sea Song by Alan Cunningham. A wet sheet and a flowing sea, a wind that follows fast, and fills the white and rustling sail, and bends the gallant mast, and bends the gallant mast, my boys, while like the eagle free, away the good ship flies and leaves old England on the lee. Oh, for a soft and gentle wind, I heard a fair one cry, but give to me the snoring breeze, and white waves heaving high, and white waves heaving high, my lads, the good ship tight and free. The world of waters is our home, and merry men are we. There's a tempest in yon horned moon, and lightning in yon cloud. But hark the music, mariners, the wind is piping loud. The wind is piping loud, my boys, the lightning flashes free, while the hollow oak our palace is, our heritage the sea. I'll be damned. The next one's about ships, too. Holy frickin' crapola, we're just going to keep going. But I need another sip. Yeah, something weird going on with this stuff. Messmates by Henry Newbolt. He gave us all a goodbye cheerily at the first dawn of day. We dropped him down the side full drearily when the light died away. It's a dead dark watch that he's a keeping there, and a long, long night that lags a creeping there, where the trades and the tides roll over him and the great ships go by. He's there alone with green seas rocking him for 1,000 miles round. He's there along with dumb things mocking him, and we're homeward bound. It's a long, lone watch that he's a keeping there, and a dead cold night that lags a creeping there, while the months and the years roll over him, and the great ships go by. I wonder if the tramps come near enough as they thrash to and fro, and the battleship bells ring clear enough to be heard down below. If through all the lone watch that he's a keeping there, and the long cold night that lags a creeping there, the voices of the sailor men shall comfort him when the great ships go by. Drake's Drum by Henry Newbolt. Drake, he's in his hammock, and 1,000 miles away. Captain, art the sleeping there below? Slung between the round shot in Nombron Dios Bay, and dreaming all the time, O Plymouth Hoe. Yonder looms the island, yonder lie the ships, with sailor lads a dancing heel and toe, and the shore lights flashin', and the night tides dashin'. He sees it all so plainly as he see it long ago. Drake he was a Devon man, and ruled the Devon seas. Captain, art there sleeping there below? Rovin' though his death fell, he went with heart at ease, and dreamin' all the time o' Plymouth Hoe. Take my drum to England, hang it by the shore, strike it when your powder's runnin' low. If the dawns sight Devon, I'll quit the port o' heaven, and drum them up the channel as we drummed them long ago. Drake he's in his hammock till the great armadas come. Captain, art there sleepin' there below? Slung atween the round shot, listening for the drum, and dreamin' all the time o' Plymouth Hoe. Call him on the deep sea, call him up the sound, call him when ye sail to meet the foe, where the old trades a plyin', and the old flags a flyin', they shall find him where and wakin', as they found him long ago. The Old Ships by James E. Flecker. I have seen old ships sail like swans asleep, beyond the village which men still call Tyre, with leaden age Aracode dipping deep For Famagusta and the hidden sun that rings Black Cyprus with a lake of fire, and all those ships were certainly so old. Who knows how oft the squat and noisy gun questing brown slaves or Syrian oranges. The pirate Genoese hell raked them till they rolled blood, water, fruit, and corpses up the hold. But now through friendly seas they softly run, painted the mid-sea blue or shore sea green, still patterned with the vine and grapes in gold. But I have seen, pointing her shapely shadows from the dawn, an image tumbled on a rose-swept bay, a drowsy ship of the same yet older day, and wonder's breath indrawn, thought I, who knows, but in that same, fished up beyond Ania, patched up new, stern painted brighter blue, that talkative, bald-headed seaman came, 12 patient comrades sweating at the oar, from Troy's doom crimson shore, and with great lies about his wooden horse, set the crew laughing and forgot his course. It was so old a ship, who knows, and yet so beautiful I watched in vain to see the mast burst open with a rose and the whole deck put on its leaves again. Okay, the last one in this chapter is Requiem by Robert Louis Stevenson. It's very short. Under the wide and starry sky, dig the grave and let me lie. Glad did I live and gladly die, and laid me down with a will. This be the verse you grave for me. Here he lies where he longed to be. Home is the sailor home from the sea, and the hunter home from the hill. Yeah, this is it's just like, I don't even know what to make of that. Almost that entire chapter was sea shanties and really, it is not named so. It's just named Old Songs and Ballads. So they must have been a very maritime society that they came up from. Let's see if I want to read anything further. I am enjoying this. We already heard the tale of Orpheus from, well, at least Orpheus in the underworld when I was reading the Greek classics. But there's a little bit of Shakespeare coming up in the very next chapter, and we're going to enjoy that. At least I will. What's today? Is this Thursday or Friday? Let me check my calendar here. It's only Thursday, so tomorrow, why don't we read some Shakespeare? I've been planning to do Shakespeare soon anyway. I really want to do Shakespeare sock puppet theater. I think it will be enjoyable, but that's going to take a little bit of rehearsal because I really want to do the balcony scene, which is scene 2, act 2, I think, of Romeo and Juliet. I think it'll be frickin' hilarious with sock puppets. So I'm kind of got to make some sock puppets first and then work on that and maybe rehearse a little Shakespeare. It'll be fun. So I'm going to read through some of the chat right now. Mazes were attached to sea castles. That's interesting. I didn't know that mazes were attached to sea castles, but here in the city that I grew up in, Flint, Michigan, we have mazes down by the Flint River, downtown, and they're supposedly to help with overflow when the water levels get high. But as teenagers, we loved running through the mazes at night when we'd go down to the all ages shows and, just play tag and have fun in the dark in mazes. It was a good time. Interesting stuff. I didn't know that Drake was a privateer or a pirate. Thank you for that. Oh, I'm glad your granddaughter is listening. In most of the general readings I've been doing lately, I've been keeping my mouth in check and trying not to swear or use bad language. So those are friendly for children to listen to if if you want to share them with your kids. They should all be pretty good. I think that in some of my earliest readings, I did cuss a little bit. I was trying really hard not to, but we get excited. But it might be one of those things where some of those stories, especially the Greek classics, might be really enjoyable for some of the kids, especially at bedtime or something. Cuddle up and listen. I think I do a pretty good job of keeping my language clean at those times and sticking to the script. So I want to say thank you. I hope you all enjoyed, past, present, future listeners, to today's poetic readings and old ballads from Grampy's collection of books. I'm going to give my sincerest love and shout out to my good friend, supercalifragilistic squirrel sniper Joe King, London McLovin, and Tony's Coffee House and Bex. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed these little bits that I had to share with you today as a midday break. And I think that I will read some more tomorrow. We'll move into a little bit of Shakespearean short poetry. Hey, Skull Asylum, thank you. I made this sweater with my own 2 feet. So happy Thursday, Thor's Day. Much love, y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I will also be working on my Barbie theory. Well, it's more about Ryan Gosling and the knowing and all that stuff. But I don't know what day I'm going to put that out. So tomorrow, more reading. Much love. Y'all have happy hours, and I'll see you very soon. Mwah.